Welcome to another episode of the Empowered Presence podcast, where executive women of color come to learn how to build their visibility, authority, and thought leadership without sacrificing authenticity. I'm your host, Melanie Denny, personal branding consultant and creator of the Empowered Presence framework. Stay tuned as we dig deeper into personal branding strategies for women of color looking to make a bigger impact in their industries, their communities, and the world. Hello, and welcome to this very special, unique episode of Empowered Presence. Today, I wanted to repurpose one of my group coaching calls. Actually, it was the last group coaching call for my cohort, my first cohort for the Empowered Presence program. There were a lot of revelations and a lot of epiphanies and a lot of progress, a lot of learning, a lot of lessons, a lot of things that I felt may be beneficial to share publicly. So with permission, I am providing you guys with a snippet of our call, and hopefully it gives you some more information about what Empowered Presence is all about. Maybe it will open your eyes to what's possible for you and your own personal brand, and maybe this is what you needed to really get clear on how you're going to be moving forward. So, without further ado, here is just a small snippet of my group coaching call with the Empowered Presence beta cohort. There's a lot that I feel like y'all have done, and I'm just excited to see y'all finally start to flourish and put yourselves out there. And we have a full-blown TikTok for the people that spitting the PM knowledge. We got features, quotes in the media. We got full-blown product launches. We got content going out the whoop, whoop, whoop with speaking engagements and all the things, program launches, course launches. And so, thank you. Thank you for showing up for yourselves and kind of proving to me that I kind of know what I'm talking about. Because it was a point where I was like, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. And it's funny enough. So, I started this in the beginning of this year, and I was going hard. If you remember, I was like all over. I was going live every week, launched my podcast. I was like marketing, posting on LinkedIn. And then like August, September, I was like, all right, it's been like 8 months, nothing's happened. And so I kind of like just slowed all the way down. I deactivated my Facebook page. I stopped posting on LinkedIn. I haven't posted on LinkedIn since September. And I just kind of didn't know what the hell I was doing. So what am I doing? And funny enough, with that step back, those couple of months away from everything and like not putting so much pressure on myself, people came out the woodworks in November. When I tell you, I had a speaking engagement last Monday. They want me to come back in January, and these are paid. I have a speaking engagement in February booked. I just signed another one. They want me to do 3 workshops in 2024, paid. It's kind of crazy. And so I was like, okay, maybe I just needed a minute to reflect. And it's just, I'm telling y'all this is to bring it back full circle. And the point of the story is they found me. I did absolutely nothing to pitch, to find them, right? I was literally like, I don't even know. Personal branding is not on my top of the list at all. But they found me
And they saw all the things I had done in January, February, March, April, May, June, July, going hard. And it spoke to them and they were willing to pay me money, period. They didn't need a whole lot. They're like, yeah, I saw I researched you and I saw you have this, you have that, you got YouTube, you got Pi. Like, yeah, come on, we need you. And so the point is keep going, keep showing up, even when you feel like it's all in vain. It's not. The work I put in the beginning of the year, me stepping back for 2 months, that work still worked for me. So show up, keep showing up. So now I got to show up in January because I feel like I can't lose the momentum. And now I got something to talk about because things are happening, right? Y'all are getting results. I'm speaking all over the place. So just make sure that when you're feeling like, what am I doing? This is pointless. Nobody cares. Somebody gonna care. If it's not today or tomorrow, at some point, that work is not in vain. If you don't get nothing else out of this experience with Mel, I take that away. Keep showing up. Your people are waiting for you and they looking for you and they searching for you. So what questions, what thoughts, what updates, what do y'all have for me?
So updates. Well, you already know, just did the product launch. And you were in my head the whole way about no, for real, like, because I don't know how to say this so many times. I'm so thankful that I went through Empower Presence because branding is real. When you put something out there, people have their own spin on what you should be doing, what you should be offering, how you should be doing it. And all in my head is, I went through this whole program to decide how I wanted to do things, how I wanted to present myself, how I wanted to show up. So when people presented their ideas that didn't align with already written down, it was a no. That's not what I'm trying to do.
It's a hard
And
no.
and it was easy. I was like, no, that's not what this brand is about. No, I'm doing it this way. So that was good, especially because this is like the first time I'm literally putting 100% behind what I'm doing. Not to say I haven't before, but like in entrepreneurship. So I'm like, yes, I'm glad I went through that because it's easy to get derailed. It's easy to offer things that you're not comfortable with, but I was able to be like, no, this is what my brand is about. This is what my product is about. This is it. So when I launched on Sunday and I was interacting with the customers, it's just like I'm pouring into them why I'm doing this. And when I tell you it was so easy to sell the product because I knew what I was talking about, they saw the passion behind it. They was like, oh, okay, great, boom, I got you. All right, here. And I was just amazed at that. And it wasn't like I was selling. It was more of like, hey, this is something I want to offer your dog that I feel like is beneficial, right? And it was amazing. I loved every minute of it. Now I gotta figure out how to triple produce, but I loved every minute of it. I loved it. Even now when I had the store owner, he was looking at my logo and he was like, "Oh, you should do this." No, this is what my logo is. This is my colors. This is how I want it to look. Like, we are like I was thinking, like, I already worked with Melanie about this. We already did this, so it was really good. So thank you.
That's amazing. That's so amazing because I spoke on personal branding, the FAIR brand framework, right, on Monday. And I was saying FAIR's acronym for focus, authentic, impactful, relevant. When we're talking about focus, and I said to them, when you're focused, it clarifies, simplifies, and it helps you identify your opportunities and the things that are not in alignment easily. And the fact that you're saying that right now, I'm like, they'll be spitting. Because it's true. And that's the thing that a lot of people don't do, this foundational stuff. because it's like, oh, I got an idea. All right, cool. Dog food. All right, bet. Let's start talking about it. How about you focus in and figure out all of these things so that when you do present it, like you said, you do it with confidence, you do it off the top of your head, it's smooth, it feels good, it's authentic to you because you already did the work. That's fire. Congratulations.
Thank you. And then I just want to say shout out to putting this together, because I feel like this also helped me a long way, because there was times I'm like, oh, I need this. Well, where do I go for that? How do I do this? And then this group, people have experienced it. So they was like, oh, try this, try that. Oh, let me hit up somebody, even if they didn't know, let me hit up somebody who's probably going through the same thing and come back with the information. So that was a blessing itself, to be able to have this group to help me along the way and kind of encourage to keep going. Now, granted, sometimes I didn't come to the meeting, but it was like, this is where I can go if I need help, right? This is like that home base. Everybody understand what our purpose was, and that was awesome. That was awesome. So
Yay. I wish, I feel like they should have been alive. Right? This is this. I mean,
we
I
can
look
make
crazy.
it alive.
I look crazy, so I'm not posting the video, but I'm gonna do something with the audio. I don't know. Maybe I'll make it into a podcast episode.
Yeah,
because this is the sauce right here.
it is. I think it's, again, just speaks to how important it is for you to be yourself. It just shows up so easily, kind of like Lindsay is saying, when you just figure it out. And it's so funny because, to be honest, I, in my head, thought branding had to do more with like the look. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this is how it looks, and this is how pretty it is. Like, it was a look thing, right? And because that's what people would talk about, right? Branding, and how do the little squares look on Instagram, and like all this stuff, and so when you were like asking deep questions, I'm like, I don't know how to answer these questions. Like, what? I thought we were branding. But then I got used to it. And then I've been going back to what we discussed, and I've just been able to make so many intentional decisions that I don't second guess. Right? I'm not really worried about like competing with people, or like, it just gave me so much confidence, because kind of like what Lindsay said, like when the guy's like, oh, you should do this with your logo. I didn't ask you for your opinion. Like, people just want to freely share their opinion. And that's one thing people don't tell you about when you're an entrepreneur. And when you're unsure, right? Then you're kind of like, well, should I? Right? All the opinions that people have, they like derail you, because you're just trying to be like, well, she might know what she's talking about. Or like, if the pet person who works at the pet store is giving you information, you're like, oh, I should listen to him, right? Like, he must know what he's talking about. But guess what? He doesn't know your why. He doesn't know your why. He doesn't know all the ideas that you put together to make this thing, right? And the same thing for me. And yeah, it's just really, I feel like no matter what I do in my business, I know it's going to be successful for me, because I'm making my decisions from the work that we did together. And I can always go back to that. And even as life changes, again, like just going back to that space and being authentic and telling your story. And I told this to Melanie, guys, but I don't know if I told it to everybody else. I went to a conference, or it's really a retreat, with a bunch of other Black professional organizers. And what you don't know is that the fields of organizing, yeah, everybody says it looks so cool. It's actually very intimidating and scary, because everybody watched the home edit during the pandemic, and everybody and their mom wanted to start an organizing business. Like, literally, so many women started one. And so then what happened was, a lot of people were like, well, this is how you do it, right? And initially I was eating that up, right? Like, okay, I'm going to do this and do this. And I love checklists. I'm a checklist person. I'm like, I'm gonna do this, and then they say you have to do this, and then you have to do that. And I, through my work with Melanie, have realized like, man, that's a lot of noise for me, right? For me, because then I started comparing, like, well, she has that, and I'm not doing that. Should I be doing, like, you just, again, you're operating not from authentic place. So anyway, I went to a retreat with these other organizers, and why I love it because it's very supportive and we respect the lane that everybody else is in. Like, you are doing your thing, I'm doing my thing. And so a year ago we got together, and then we had our second retreat this year. And immediately as I entered the room, within like 10 minutes, people were like, okay, girl, like, you just seem really different. Like, wow, I've been reading your posts. Your posts are just like, I see the message coming through, and like, I'm continuing to get it. And it's just so cool because I guess as you're doing this work for what I'm doing, right, there's a difference between me physically in someone's house. Yeah, I can see how that's helping that person, right? But then when it comes across to social media, you're not really sure how people are receiving your message. And it was just, yeah, so many people like approached me and were like, oh my gosh, what have you been doing? Like, I can just see like your content just changing and your purpose. And it was, it's really cool. And I immediately told Mel because I was like,
Yes.
I was shocked. I was like, really? You could tell that? And I was like, oh, well, yay.
Y'all don't know how I'm like warm and tingly right now. Because you know what you just described? You adopted an empowered presence.
Yeah, I did.
You showed up and everybody felt your power.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was so cool because our one of our speakers was I don't know if you follow on Instagram Blessed Little Bungalow. You may not because it's an interior designer. It's related to what I do. And so this woman that we all follow, this Black girl who started her own interior design company and really was kind of on a similar journey as an entrepreneur. And I love it. Two things. One, the outfits I picked, I know this sounds crazy, but the outfits I picked were very me, and like I never would have worn them last year. Like last year I wore very safe clothing. Like we have a color scheme that you're supposed to wear, and they're like very safe. But like the first night I had on my shirt with my logo and a bright yellow jacket. Who walks in with a bright yellow jacket? The lady who was our speaker. There's only two people in the room, so then people are associating this like, oh, look at you two. So I actually got to talk to her and have a whole conversation. We both dealt with mental health issues, but like this is me literally talking to someone that like I look up to on social media, but having again that empowered presence to do that. And then we're supposed to wear pink. And again, only thing I have that's pink is this big pink ruffly skirt. Like it's like a tutu. And did I wear it? Yes, because that's me. I'm always too, I describe myself as like, I'm very calm, but I'm also a little bit fun. And so that's how I've been dressing for the past year as well. And yeah, it was my whole thing. They're like, your look, the way you've been talking, the way you've been posting, like, look at you. So anyway, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for taking a chance on us. And it's great to hear that even for yourself, where you questioned yourself, like we have to keep going because like we're in control of the opportunities, but we're also not, right? Like we have to let them come to us.
Yeah. And I love that because now you're getting like byproducts of, being more confident. And now
Yeah.
it's like spilling over into other areas that you wasn't even really focused on.
Yeah.
Right. So this is about self-identity, so embracing who you are is so powerful. It's so powerful. Thanks for sharing. What else?
I'm in the library, so I'm probably limited in speaking, but I would say that I feel like I learned things that I do and don't like.
Mm.
And what is also surprising to me. So what I do like is that I'm not at work, so I get to talk about whatever I want to talk about, right? And I feel like when you work in corporate for so long, your thoughts are limited, but you start to forget like you have your own custom ideas, custom approaches that you don't get to explore at work because it's just, they have a system, right? but there's other things that you've learned or you've tried that you could talk about, right? I learned that, and I find that the fun part of personal branding.
Mm.
It's you. It's what you want to talk about, right? And I think for a long time, I was like, I have to go by. I gotta stay between the lines, which I still am a little bit, but I'm finding my courage to go outside a little bit. What I'm still learning is um, being comfortable with the recognition from my peers in the industry. Even my mentor, she saw some of my TikToks and like she saved it. So just being comfortable with that recognition is something I'm still learning to do.
Mhm.
But it's a good thing.
Yeah. I think the more you put yourself out there and the more people that like encourage you or reinforce you or validate you, the more you're going to be able to embrace it. Because I think there is a certain level of doubt we all have before we actually put ourselves out. Like, okay, are people going to resonate with this? Are they going to think I know what I'm talking about? Are they going to think, girl, what are you talking about? Are they going to be confused? Like all these possible negative things. But when you start doing it, that's why you got to do it. Hashtag do it, because that's the only way you're going to learn, to grow, get better, all that. And so the fact that you're putting yourself out there and then people are slowly saying, check, yes, I approve. That's dope. The more you're going to realize I am dope.
Mm-hmm.
What I have to say is important. I
Mm-hmm.
am making an impact. Because look at these people. That's saying, yes, we need more. That's saying, yes, come and speak to our group. Right. So I love that. But it goes back to you guys show up. So
Right.
keep showing up.
This has been an amazing journey. I feel like I learned a lot. And that I think one of the lessons I learned the most, or I feel like what I still use is the document that we did in the beginning. It's my reference. So when I feel like lost, confused, or just I will reference right back to it. And the ChatGPT, I'm telling you, I knew it existed. I just never used it until I knew how to use it.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, my company has been talking about it, and I still don't use it until this group because they didn't really talk about how it could be utilized.
Mm-hmm.
They're just saying we're going to be rolling this out, and be like, okay.
That's awesome. Yeah, ChatGPT is, like you said, once you know how to use it, how not to use it, it's definitely very, very helpful. It's a great tool. But I can tell ChatGPT a mile away.
Mm.
A mile away.
For real, for real?
A mile away.
What?
I just because I know how it speaks. It's like all the unleash this, right? And all those there's certain phrases that it always uses. And I'm like, girl, you copied and pasted that from ChatGPT.
Oh, right. But your recommendation is to edit it for
absolutely edit it. Absolutely edit it. Use it as a starting point.
Mm-hmm.
And then make it yours. Yes, you could give it like samples of your writing so that it can mimic your style and tone and stuff like that. But it's not gonna get it right for real. You still got to touch it and put your real, authentic self, infusing that into it, and that's how it becomes more powerful. And then also more for ideas and maybe clarification on things and to-dos or suggestions on processes and things like that is really good for. But actual writing, like content, do not copy paste.
I usually like put my first draft into ChatGPT and then be like, check it for grammar or content, like something like that, and they'll just poof it up. But yeah, I don't allow it to write for me, I guess, because you can tell the difference.
Yeah. And then it's always using those same stupid emojis with the rocket and the stupid little like the stars. That's swirling or whatever.
Wait, it give you icons?
Yeah, well, when I say, okay, make me a LinkedIn post about this, it's always a stupid rocket. And then every title, give me title ideas. It's always 2 words with a colon and then a subtitle. Always. So it's like, once you get in there, you start getting familiar, you can spot it a mile away. And that's a problem because now everybody's stuff going to sound like AI. How you going to stand out when you sound like the next person who use AI? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you guys, you got to really make sure you're infusing your voice into your content, specifically content. Other things, may not be a big deal, but stuff that you're going to put out, don't let ChatGPT write it.
I also feel like in my experience, I feel like now that there's traction, I feel responsibility to put content out because they're watching and they're basically without asking, saying, I'm trying to learn what else you got.
Yes. And it's like this. I feel like I've probably said this to y'all before, but I always think about this analogy. A coach I used to follow, she would say, when you're like out there in the ocean and you're like feeling like you're going somewhere and you're seeing the light, lighthouse, and you're seeing the light, you see the light. It's like you are the lighthouse and your people are out there like, oh, there's what we need. Let's go. And then when you stop showing up, the light go out and they like, oh, damn, we lost. I don't know. What should we go this way? I don't. What else can we do? I don't know. I got this. Maybe my phone light, right? And they don't know what to do because their guiding light left them hanging.
That's great.
That's a good analogy.
That really stuck with me. So don't leave your people hanging, bro.
Yeah.
Don't leave them hanging because you got something for them. It has to come from you.
Yeah.
Today's episode was brought to you by the Empowered Presence program, where brilliant executive women of color learn to build their visibility, authority, and thought leadership without sacrificing authenticity. Stay tuned to learn more. In a world where diversity, equity, and inclusion are paramount, where success and empowerment of executive women of color matter more than ever, comes a groundbreaking personal branding program designed exclusively for marginalized women to build their visibility, authority, and thought leadership without sacrificing authenticity. And it's the support from Melanie that allows you to accept yourself and what you want to share. It's not cookie cutter. When you come out this program, the learnings that you're going to apply as you share your knowledge and experiences and everything like that, it's going to be so unique. It's not going to be cookie cutter. And if that's what you want, then this is it. Empowered Presence is a program designed for executive women of color to leverage their expertise, leadership, and unique experiences to unlock their full potential and make an impact on their industries, communities, and the world.
I've been in this industry for over 10 years, and I was just always a background player, right? I'm involved, but I never had a full on set. I'm in the forefront. I'm ready to just be present. So going through the Empowered Presence, it made me realize that I have more to do or say just to be in the background, right? I was very confident of how I wanted to represent STEM, how I wanted to represent as a female, as a Black female in STEM. So that it gave me a voice. It gave me I have something to say, and I should be saying it more often. I should be in a crowd or an audience more often than I was before.
Our program is tailor-made to address the unique challenges faced by women of color so they ultimately overcome adversity to leave a lasting legacy. For so long, the world has silenced us and control the narrative. And frankly, it's time to take our voices back. I want every woman leader to know that their identity and experiences are their greatest strengths. And I want to encourage them to embrace the essence of who they really are.
It takes a lot to show up every day in a space where there's only a few. But what I knew is that I needed to encourage those who are already in the industry and those who are thinking about enter the industry that show up, keep showing up. And that's who I wanted to target. So it helped, the program helped me to figure that out.
Once completing the Empowered Presence program, these ambitious women are able to embrace their uniqueness, boost their self-confidence, gain a renewed sense of clarity around their personal mission, make a lasting impact with the power of storytelling, package their knowledge, skills, and experiences to really showcase their value, and ultimately position themselves for new opportunities beyond the 9 to 5 through the power of authentic personal branding.
I just felt like what I got out of it was way more than visuals and aesthetics and content schedules. It was not that. It was like, who do you want to be? How do you want to represent yourself?
Invest in yourself and enroll in the Empowered Presence program today. Your future self will be grateful you did. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Empowered Presence podcast. Make sure you subscribe to get alerts, updates, and the resources mentioned in today's episode at empoweredpresence.tv.